Hi there, it is Wemi here with your weekly dose of inspiration. So, I like to say that I pride myself on following my instincts. I learned the hard way, very hard way, that the only time that I get into trouble is when I don't follow what the divine power within me is guiding me to do. I recently celebrated my 15-year anniversary in Los Angeles, which honestly, I can't believe how everything has worked out. It has not been a straight line in any way, shape, or form. More like very squiggly lines with lots of twists and turns. But these squiggly lines were specially crafted and curated for me. So before I moved to Los Angeles, I had this terrible job in Washington, D.C., with a very unconscious manager who took out her pain on everyone who worked under her, especially me. When I initially took that job, I knew that it wouldn't be for long. I was excited to learn and grow. I was a fresh graduate, just straight out of school. And I did grow, in a much different form than I expected. But my plan was to work really hard at this job, save every penny for a year, and then make my move to LA. So within a month of being in that job, it was clear, very clear to me that I had been plopped into the challenge of a lifetime. By month 5, I knew that something had to give, and my mental health, my sanity, and my life were at stake because of the deep depression, anxiety, and intense unhappiness that I had now been plunged into as a result of this life situation. In addition to that, my physical health was also suffering. My body was responding to the mental and emotional trauma and anguish that I was essentially saying yes to by showing up at that job or to that job every morning. So back then, I didn't have any tools to cope with what was happening, but I later realized that life was teaching me a much bigger lesson. At month 6, I had some money saved, but it wasn't enough. I had flown out to Los Angeles twice already at that time to try and put some things in motion, in anticipation of my move, and the money for the flights and hotels came from my savings. Then there was an incident at work that I felt questioned who I was at my core. Would I stand up for myself and damn the consequences, or would I remain silent and stay comfortable in my discomfort and dysfunction? I decided to damn the consequences. I not only spoke my piece, I quit that job in the same breath. I only lasted 6 months. Now, after I quit, I felt, man, this intense relief, peace that I had never experienced before, or at least that I had before that job. And then after that, doubt stepped in. Should I have waited, sucked it up? Could I have lasted 6 more months to get to my goal? I remember I called a recruiting agency to see if they could help me find some work so that I could continue to save money and hit my goal. And the lady that I spoke to was so rude, so condescending. The job that I left was my first real world job out of college. She chastised me for only lasting 6 months while not having much experience. I remember her saying, quote, "Why would I put you in front of my clients?" I hung up that call feeling completely defeated and stuck. In that moment, I decided that I was going to Los Angeles, job or no job, with whatever savings I had left. Then something happened. In spite of the seemingly insurmountable blocks in front of me, life started to show up for me in the most miraculous ways. Right before I moved, I was tempted to take stock of what I didn't have. So, no job, no car, no connections, no friends out there. After I paid for everything that I needed, I only had money left to survive for 1 month. I had 1 month to get to LA and get a job, 1 month to make things work. So here's what I did have. I was positive, I was tenacious, I was determined, I was ridiculously and irrationally hopeful, and I had an end in my mind's eye. I moved to Los Angeles on October 3rd, 2006. On Friday, October 6th, I walked into a temp agency to interview. What was supposed to be a 1 hour interview for external clients' jobs turned into a 3 hour interview for an internal position. I walked out of that interview with a job offer and I started on Monday, October 9th. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the boiling frog syndrome, but if you haven't, it is based on an urban legend describing a frog being slowly boiled alive to death. Basically, if a frog is suddenly put into a pot of boiling water, it'll jump out. of course it would jump out and save itself from impending death. But if the frog is put in warm water or regular water, room temperature, with the temperature slowly being pushed up, rising slowly, it doesn't perceive any danger to itself, and it will be cooked to death. When the frog is only slightly uncomfortable with its warm surroundings, that warm fire, it just basically starts to adjust. It starts to get accustomed. The frog makes itself believe that the slow, gradual change in temperature is normal. It's only when the slow change suddenly starts accelerating that the frog realizes that it has signed its own death warrant. It has already lost its strength to jump out. It has lost the battle for its life. I had a plan. Stay in the job that I had for a year, suck it up, save everything, and then leave. Life had other plans and tried to nudge me. I was being boiled alive and the temperature was going up and up, but I kept adjusting. Life was saying, leap, trust, I'll support you. I was thinking, how will this work? What if I fail? But I have a plan. Life responded by turning up the heat some more. My body and mind were flailing. Get out, life yelled. I've got you. You don't need a year. It's time. Leap. I was scared, terrified, but finally I listened, finally. And I surrendered and I took inspired action, and then life showed up for me. Everything that you want is on the other side of your fear. But if you listen and if you trust, if you make plans but leave room for a better plan and then let go, life will always support you. Life will always show up for you. If this message connected with you, comment below. Let me know what you think, how you're feeling, what part of your journey this speaks to. I love you. You are not alone. P.S. Let's spread the love. Tag someone who could use this message below. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you soon.